What you're hearing is 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning as the elders, the bishop, the women's choir warm up the sounds of the church.
Who made this potato salad?
Now, see, that doesn't happen till 2 o'clock.
You're way off. So if you don't go to church. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Juan Epstein. And the dream is here on Juan Epstein.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
I feel good. Y'all just took me back. You know, back in the day, I was small, probably like 5 years old. Me and my grandfather used to drive down to the country. We used to have to clean off the graves of my ancestors and to watch a Baptist church in the South. And it's in Hawkinsville, Georgia, so you're riding past the cotton gins that are still there, even to this day. Like, they're just back rusted, and you still cotton and the seeds on them, everything. And him just talking about where you come from and how long, and the land we used to own, how it was taken away from just our family in general, and just, so it's just crazy.
Every Saturday he did that?
No, it's basically in the South is this thing called homecoming.
Oh.
So at a certain point in the summertime, different churches can have a homecoming.
Oh, I
or
see.
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
And around that
every
time,
Saturday, I'd be like, Granddad, all right, I got it.
Which ancestors were these? How far back are we going?
To me, great-great-grands and great-great-great-grands.
So you actually have your family, you can trace 4 generations?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What year does that get us to?
18 something. 1870.
The last thing I've read, actually, I got something from my aunt, was 1856.
Jeez.
Yeah, but we was bought in as slaves, and we were sold in here in New York, and sent to South Carolina, and then sold to a guy whose last name was Nash, which is where my name comes from, and he was in Sparta, Georgia, and that was in like 1852, 53 or something.
Have you ever looked past Ellis Island or you obviously didn't come to Ellis. It wasn't Ellis Island then.
It was definitely not Ellis Island.
And not for slaves.
Have you ever looked back past that entering New York back to Africa though? Have you been able to do that?
No, I haven't been able to do that. Yeah.
That's probably hard.
It's very hard.
That's that's crazy. Yeah, most people.
But you could trace the slave trade to New York, in what years? Like 1800s?
Yeah, it's like.
So you might be able to trace to Africa because they was keeping better records in the late 1800s.
Well,
that's like the end of it.
Yeah, okay.
Like if it was 1600s, it's a wrap. They erased everything.
Yeah.
But like then they had like
family came from?
That was a couple, definitely from Africa.
But you don't know where in Africa?
I forget which village it is right off the top of my head, but I remember reading it once she got it together for me, and that didn't take that much of a resource. I just gave her like about 12 G's, and she got like that information and traced that back. So I'm quite sure I can add some money to it and find out.
Yeah, you got enough in your pocket right now to get this done.
Yeah,
I know how you do.
Actually, he just hit me up for $10 when he walked in.
That's how I would stay on it.
For the music business
that's
stuff.
how you stay on it.
Terrius Youngdell Nash. January 25th, you have my mom's birthday.
You have a great mother, but my birthday is on September 20th.
Okay, this is why Wikipedia shouldn't be considered valuable for anything.
But we know that.
Birthday?
No, it's just.
But you assume birthday for a big star.
They ask me that all the time, and I'm like, September 20th. They're like, okay, cool.
So somebody go log on to Wikipedia and make that change, please.
But I do find this to be interesting.
And reference the Juan Epstein podcast.
Yes, you have the Juan Epstein now. So here's what I would like to do, though, because this first paragraph is interesting. It's always interesting to see the way mainstream people describe an artist's notable things for the first paragraph. So, Terrius Youngdell Nash, born January 25th, incorrectly, 1977, better known by his stage name The Dream, is an American singer, songwriter, and record producer. He is known for co-writing chart-topping hits as, what do you think the first one is they say?
Umbrella.
Wrong.
Single ladies.
Wrong.
Have no idea.
Me Against the Music.
Baby, Justin Bieber.
Wow. Oh, God.
Umbrella for Rihanna. Me Against the Music for Britney Spears. And Single Ladies, Put a Ring on It for Beyonce. As well as for his 4 solo albums, Love Hate, Love vs. Money, Love King, and Foreplay. How do you feel about the first paragraph? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. It's a little short, but...
It's only the first paragraph. We didn't
paragraph is supposed to be short.
But
like
don't worry, buddy.
Recap.
When it gets to discography, you have to go to a separate page called The Dream Discography.
Oh yeah,
so that's a whole separate.
That's when it gets interesting.
I don't think people really understand the amount of work. I mean, I know people hear about it maybe if they're really paying attention, but I don't think they understand. So I noticed Juan Epstein, they're going to go through straight music nerd talk right now. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to we're going to go into, okay, what does the dream do? You walk into the studio. What is that you bring to the studio beyond writing? Because like Single Ladies, right? You see there's a few writers on Single Ladies. So what exactly did you bring to that song?
Well, actually, that was the track was started, of course, by Tricky at that time, Tricky Stewart, who was a longtime producer partner of mine. And I remember that day clearly. I was actually opening up for Jay and Mary at that time on their tour, and we came here to New York actually, and we walked in to rock the mic. And everybody knows I have this thing about trying to put myself in the corner or trying to make things harder so I can amp myself up. And I remember running into B and I said, I got your first single, so you tell all the other producers in here they can go home. Mm-hmm. And just hyping myself. I had no idea what I was going to write at all. I'm like, oh, this is either going to be really good or it's going to going to be really bad. And,
you like boxing yourself in?
Yeah, it's just one of those psych out things. Yeah. It's like some boxer trick or something. I don't know. Except for if I was boxing, I'd probably get my ass whooped. But anyway. So I remember Trick starting the track, and of course the instrumentation wasn't there yet, but it was just a basic track. And I was just sitting there waiting on him to finish doing his thing. He had evidently no idea what he had because he was getting ready to trash the track. He was like, I don't know about this track. And I'm like, what? Yeah, just go home for a minute and let me do my thing for a second. And it took about maybe 20 minutes, I would say, to kind of just sing it from top down. And what I mean from that is, word for word, it may not be right the first time because you're going in and you're putting certain words in certain places so that it makes sense overall. But the conversation of what I was trying to have about Single Ladies and Put a Ring on It, everything was there. The idea, the melody, everything was there. You'd be a moron to mess it up. It was just that easy. And it was just 20 minutes, and I remember B walking in, and she had this smirk, and it was that smirk that I see when I know that record is happening. She was like, okay. And when she came back, everybody came in with her. It was like an hour later, Miss Tina came back. The whole management team came back. I was like, oh, we're having a discussion about this record. Oh, okay, cool, I get it.
They want it.
Video time.
They want it.
What was your first experiences with music? When did you start playing music?
Actually in the third grade, I got into the band and started playing trumpet in the third grade. And that was because of my best friend Chris, who stayed behind me. We've been best friends actually since I was 3 years old. And he played trumpet, and it was just one of those things. He was older than me, and it was like, well, you doing it, I want to do it. So, it's crazy. He's in Kuwait right now fighting for the country, and I'm out here like bowling.
So trumpet led to what? Did you get good at trumpet?
Not probably as good as he was really actually great. Me, I wasn't as good because I just played so many instruments. So I would go from there to baritone, from baritone to trombone to playing the drums. And so I was just more well-rounded, which is kind of how I am in the studio now. It's not one thing other than songwriting and being witty that I do super great over everything else. It's just...
You're good at a lot.
I kind of play the piano, like I'm not going to play the piano and it's going to suck. I just need more time than, say, Tricky does, because Tricky literally knows how to play. He's for real. So, yeah, it may take me a little bit longer on that other stuff. But
so, do you still work with Tricky?
Yeah.
Well, you're not like partners like in every single
Well, he's at Epic. Yeah, well, he's at a different building, so it kind of, yeah. But we're actually going to do an album coming up.
Is he on this new album?
No, he's not on that album.
So do the relationships you guys have or contracts or business arrangements you have with, I guess, Island Def Jam and him with Epic kind of prevent you guys from?
Sometimes, yeah, in a certain type of way, because there's certain artists you can work on and certain artists you can't. And sometimes there's just a line, even though it's not in contract. It's like, don't you do it. You better not help that girl get a hit. And it's like, but I could be working on them, and it's like, but he probably can't, or vice versa. It's like,
But like, what if you like? Well, what if I give it like some shit? Can I give it some bullshit? I won't make it a hit, but I'm gonna make it some.
What? When did you?
Or you just get them a hit and put it in somebody else's name.
Don't snitch on yourself. See, I knew that.
Wish, produced by The Wish.
Right. Wish, not
the Nightmare.
The Nightmare. The Nightmare. Right.
When did you transition to equipment at some point? Like machines? So when was that?
Oh wow. I just developed this sense of not wanting to have to lean on somebody to get my job done. So eventually being around like all these great producers, like starting of course with Tricky's brother Laney, who actually signed me to my first publishing contract after I wrote this record called Everything for B2K. I just picked up the drum machine, started watching their patterns. Like, I understood how to make a record. I knew what a hook was. I knew what a beat section was. And you're just musically trying to understand those same things. And I grew up in the 80s where all of those melodic records, happened. So for me, it was like I could hear it like a jukebox in my head. I just needed to get it out. So, but finding that you have good producers that know how to, it could be the smallest thing like a kick. Like, Timbaland has this way of how he makes his kicks and his snares, like, and they're on this little slide beat, but you have to know what you're doing when you hear it. And so all of these things, I get to get in and listen to them and pick it up. And still now, like, I'll listen to something and say, oh, okay, that's how you're doing it. And even new producers, like, so along the way, I just picked up that drum machine and that keyboard and said, okay, I need to know how to make a song 100%, period.
Every piece of it.
Without needing anyone if it comes
just
to that.
Because at the moment, if you want to create and you call somebody and they can't do it that day, you don't want to get frustrated and not be able to do it yourself.
And so I learned how to do everything. It was the beat, it was writing the song, and recording and engineering myself.
Did you at that point start doing that all the time?
Yeah.
So now when you do a record, are you doing it? Or if you're producing the record wholly, not just co-producing it, is your joint? Does that mean soup to nuts? You do the whole thing, like you?
Yeah, there's a lot of songs now that I've done, and even when we started, I was doing a lot of those songs, or at least 75% of them.
And then sometimes you also just collaborate with people where you're more overseeing it.
Yeah, overseeing it. Somebody can ask me to change something. I think Ree just dropped a. It can go from.
Sorry.
It can go from
Rihanna.
Yeah, I'm going.
Ree.
Ree. Yeah, I'm sorry.
When you used to know her, Saif, did you call her Ree?
No, I call her Robin.
Robin, that's how long ago.
That's what a lot of people who know her very well call her.
Yeah.
What's her name? I'm guessing. I knew it.
I think her name is Shantae. No.
So it can be a different kind of. The process can vary for you, and like we just said.
I was gonna paint a picture. Is Dirty Laundry for Kelly Rowland, which I did most.
You did that?
Yeah. So
hello.
The piano probably started over the production process. Back in the day, producing means to look over. Like, that's what it was about. It's not.
Right.
You're still songwriting if you play the keys or you do the beat. But when hip hop came along, of course, they changed what the role of a producer was.
Yeah.
If you do
Producers
the track, automatically
it's
it's like
a vague
I'm the producer.
term.
Yeah,
it's like a gray term. Like,
you're doing country records that don't count. Like, you can do the music. It's like, no, you're not the producer though.
Yeah.
Like, the producer is the guy that's overlooking
it.
Yeah.
Well, because you can go from Diddy.
Yeah, who's a great producer.
Who's a great producer to DJ Premier, who's a great producer,
right.
And their role is totally different.
Premier's also a writer. That's the thing.
What?
Like, Premier, he writes those songs. Like, he's writing the music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So writing credit for that?
Yeah, he gets writing credit.
So
when your name is in the
things,
parentheses, that's the writer.
Oh, so he'll get Chris
So
Martin
C.
also.
Martin, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
But hip hop made producer like the beat
it
maker.
changed everything. Yeah, I actually run into that problem all the time because it's different on my side. Writing records, you ask somebody to do their beat side to it, and then that's all they do, and then you never see them again. But you're in there with the artist, like, do this again. That's not it.
Right.
I need to send this out for strings. You add strings to it, and then you come
so
back,
you're
and then the guy looks
producing
at you like, "Yo, I produced that too." I'm like, "No,
you made the beat.
We
programmed.
co-wrote this because those are melodies. That's a part of the writing. The lyric part is 50% of it, and the music part of the composition is another part. So
on the song, so you're saying that dude might beef because the song he did the beat, right? And it might say he wants it to say produced by him, but really you're saying you did everything else. You overlooked the whole project, so you produced it,
right?
And he should get a writer, or
it just depends on who the person is, though. Like,
right.
if it's somebody,
some little shit, some little fuck face.
Yeah, it's definitely a.
So Saif, I know the real important question is how do I handle situations like that? Because I've done one mixtape now,
right. two mixtapes,
so,
and you did a beat.
No, I'm not counting that bullshit.
Oh, okay.
So Odyssey produced a beat, but I sat with an engineer who had to deal with all the Pro Era kids, which is like 9 of them, and sit and make them do shit over and over again and really work the whole song.
Production.
So I threw him the co-produced.
Yeah.
Through who the co-produced?
The engineer.
Yeah.
Because Odyssey was there with them when they picked the beat, and he sat with them for a while, but then he left.
Yeah.
So it's like producer, co-producer.
Yeah. You did it the right way.
Thank you.
But
I've been around you.
What Dream is talking about, and Cypher you're referencing, is sometimes there's guys who come up in the game and they're just not there yet, sir. And you did some drums and you did some pieces of this song.
But I made it a song.
But someone else came in and made this a full-fledged production.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So I think there's some good learning here for you up and coming producers out there watching this.
Well, if up and coming producers can't learn from the Dream, then we got.
Was there ever a time in your growth as a writer producer that you got fucked?
Oh, all the time.
Currently,
I never. Probably not currently, but it happens.
Up until recently,
it happens. But I never. I value what it is that I have and know that I'll be here next year. So it's not like if I see somebody going crazy or it's like, yo, I need this 5% of publishing and it's a big fight over it, I'll probably give it up from my side. So I don't have time.
You don't need the stress.
Yeah, I could just go write.
And they probably won't be, if you beefing over that little bit.
Exactly. And what happens, they never get in that room again. Like, you're never going to be in this room again. Meanwhile, I'm going to get the call to be back in the room. And they're going to make sure that they remember that drummer over 5% of publishing. You're never going to get back in the room again.
So another little bit there is if you're somebody that people want to work with, they keep asking you back.
Right.
Versus motherfuckers who are beefing right out the gate and you don't have a resume or
but let me tell you this, I do hear arguments from people. There are the people who say, and I think you and I are more in this camp, just do your work. You got to do work early on. You got to build your name and do what you got to do to get on.
That's right.
But then there are other producers who feel like, yes, you should do that a little bit, but producers end up devaluing producers in general if they give away too much shit.
It just depends on how much you believe in yourself. Like, it's rolling the dice. Like, for me, I just, at some particular point, knew that I had a chance to be here talking about this. And if I didn't know that in 2000, then I would have probably been fighting over the probably 6% of publishing that I have on Me Against the Music with Britney Spears. Or it should have been about 30%.
Right.
So,
right.
But you're like, let me get this Britney Spears credit.
But why would I fight? But it's like, okay, cool. Because then somebody's going to remember.
Where was that crossroads for you where you were like,
now I need it.
Like where someone you gave, like you said, you gave up 6%. You did Britney Spears, but you didn't fight over that. It was he was like, cool, I got it. Where was that point you was like, no.
No, I think he's saying he still doesn't fight about it.
I still don't.
Still don't.
But the number they come in with is inherently higher because you're the Dream.
Because of what I've done, yeah. But it's just because of what I've done. But when it comes into if a girl that's an R&B singer calls me, and that's not at that level yet, and it's like, you're asking me for publishing, but this is not really how it works, and I just don't have the time for it.
Right.
And she'll learn that lesson another way, not from me. Like, that's not how the relationship starts, And so.
What record puts you in the path of everyone in our world being like, ooh, the dream. Was it the dream? I'm sure, Saif, you have your own theory on that, but what was it?
What do you mean? Rephrase.
What record came out that either your own or produced that made people go, oh, the dream. The dream.
Oh, it was Umbrella, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
But you had already put stuff out before Umbrella, right?
Yeah, but it's still this is a very small business, as big as we want it to be. Like, nobody knew who I was at that particular time. We brought that record in. Once it got into Def Jam, then automatically, the question is, who wrote that or who produced it? And then that's when the thing starts, And at that time, when you take it to one of the, a person that has a very, very large demand over what the music business is, which is Jay, once he wants to know what, him and L.A. Reid actually at the same time trying to find out, all right, who's the guy? Let's
find that guy.
Yeah.
Here's what I want you to answer that no one ever answers in hip hop, and it's annoying, especially in a field where all we're supposed to do is stunt, and no one ever wants to stunt. Please tell me the biggest single check from Umbrella. What was that one you opened and were like, fucking shit, this is a smash? Because I know there were a few 6-figure checks. I wonder if there was a 7-figure check.
They don't come as one song, Rosen. He won't know.
Oh, but is it not broken down?
Maybe on a statement, I guess.
It's broken down in the statement, but I wouldn't know exactly what it would be. I would just know the amount that is made, only because at that time you're going to sign a publishing deal or you're going to sign an admin deal, and I signed the admin at that time, so they're just advancing your bread anyway. So it's like, okay, cool.
They're advancing you. It's not based on what it's doing.
Yeah,
Like
it's
once-
based on what they think it's going to do.
But
It's a
then what about?
projection.
But what about when it
All the
blows
other
up way
stuff.
bigger than that?
No, what they want to do is what they did is try to pay you before it gets to that point. They don't want. They don't want to not like.
You want a new deal? We got a new
exactly,
deal
we got
for
a
you.
new
We got
deal
a
for
new
you. Yeah, it's like a player that had a great year, and even though he's in another year contract, you're like, nah.
So you're saying that check that I'm dreaming of you getting for Umbrella didn't come for Umbrella? It was cool.
Oh, no, it came.
No,
It definitely came. I'm
Yeah.
quite sure. there was a.
but it's mixed in. It's like it comes in like time chunks.
Yeah.
So that 3 months, whatever accumulated in that 3 months.
Yeah, it's like a 3-month thing at ASCAP, which is totally different from publishing, which publishing runs on a 6-month basis. So I'm quite sure publishing is a 6-month basis at that particular point at its height. From
much you got in the bank account right
international, probably.
I'll take that too.
It had to get somewhat of a check around like at least $3 million. I'm sure
Mhm.
Shit.
at one point.
And how good are the checks still for Umbrella? Because you
They're
hear
really
it.
great. Oh, they're okay.
half that quarter.
They probably run on a consistent level of a year for Umbrella, making me probably 1.2 million.
That would be my dream job, and it's just something that already sits in addition to what else he's doing.
And how much of that did you write? 100%?
No, 50.
50%.
Yeah.
Wait, who did the other 50?
Trick.
Oh, he did the beat.
You wrote the
did it
first
really
Ella.
slow.
He said the second Ella.
Yeah. No, he
And
did the track.
If you would have just let me come in with the AA,
You'd
I'd
be living.
living.
You're like, oh, dream. What about A? I'm out. Thank you and good night.
Wait, what track? What year did you make that track? Or what did
07.
07. Because I'm still waiting for. You still owe me some Nina Sky tracks from
Yeah,
like
what-
05.
So yeah.
This just got crazy. I
You
didn't,
think you could send those over? He doesn't work with them anymore, but if you could just send over the beats.
I don't work with them.
He did ask me for some.
He remembers it though. You know what else happened in
He was
2000?
on the road somewhere. Where were we at? We did a show somewhere.
No, I think it was Summer Jam.
No, we did a show
was
somewhere.
somewhere else?
They were on a show, and I was on that same show as a radio show somewhere.
Yeah.
Makes perfect
look,
sense.
and I love those girls, Nina Sky, but I don't know how they got into this conversation.
Okay.
Nah,
Because-
this five sounds
Sight,
like
this is
fucking-
Juan Epstein.
Nah,
we
he
mention
was
Nina
mad.
Sky every few episodes.
Dream
all right?
was mad cool. And like this is early. Like we heard some of his early stuff and was dying to work with him. And then he said, I was like, oh, he's about to blow up.
And he's
shit. Shit.
Well, no.
And you was over at MTV then, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's where it was. That might have been where it was.
But that's where it started. Yeah.
So with Dream, I thought I liked shit previous to it, but the one that made me like a bit of like a fan, and I pick my R&B selectively that I'm like a fan of, was this joint right here. I don't know what it was about this record. It just resonated, like, and the video resonated. Like, it was just
easy.
yeah, it was a good one.
That was your first big radio single, right?
It's my first single ever.
That was your first single ever.
Yeah.
So it had just been production shit. Umbrellas before this or after?
After.
Umbrella's right before that.
Right before it.
I wasn't even.
They're both
I wasn't
07.
even considering being an artist before Umbrella came out.
Really?
Yeah. I literally made the
Oh,
decision
wow.
to be an artist once I wrote Bed for Jay Holiday, which came after Umbrella also.
Oh yeah.
Wait
that
a
was
minute.
big.
So
Really?
wait, what happened in your mind? You was like, nah, fuck that, homie. I wrote that song. You about to go live? Or?
No, it was. I felt like there was a gap, and it's the same gap now that we see the younger R&B artists doing now. Like that gap didn't exist before that time. It was Bed, and then it was me saying, hold up, I could do like at least 12 of these records on an album, like, and so that's how I made Love Hate based on that. Like, so I made my records and still do to this day based on production and songwriting, not as an artist. And somebody was asking me that the other day about, do I like to perform? I'm like, I don't really like to perform. I owe it to the people to perform because they play my shit, you know.
So when
Then
you
why
make a
do it?
song, it could either go to someone else or yourself. You just make songs.
Yeah, somebody could ask me for something off the album and I would give it to them.
Wow.
Because he knows he can make more.
And are there times when you think you could make more and you think it could blow up more with them?
Oh, of course, because they literally, it's not. I've always been honest with myself. Like if we started at 13 and I started doing my push-ups and sit-ups, then we might be talking about a whole different thing. But at the end of the day, I don't have time to lie to myself about what it is I want to do and what it is I'm trying to accomplish. Like, so.
Do you think you're a good singer? It sounds like you don't like. Do you love your singing?
Oh yeah, I definitely have a great tone. Like there's nobody's tone that's like mine. I think in a lot of people around me would say that. B says it all the time, like trying to match what my tone is. but singer in quote means a lot of different things.
See, I like how technical you are with what these. You show a lot of respect to the titles and what it means to be something. So you don't like to proclaim yourself to be a singer when you know what you are is a music maker and producer.
Exactly. I just I key into whatever it is that I need. Like Shawty is a 10 needed that voice to do that. You don't want to hear everybody's like, why are you singing so straight? But if I didn't, it wouldn't even make sense. It needs to be a melodic rap record or it wouldn't make sense, you know.
So you were like sing rapping really is how you saw yourself on the record. Yeah.
Of course. I was just playing the part of the song. Like, so you're just being an extension of an instrument.
You're being an instrument.
Yeah.
This just happened the other day. Syph and I were at a concert. I won't say who it is because I don't want to diss them because they're not bad. But they were performing and they do sing rap. But unlike you, they don't have a great voice. It's just one of these low-key records that's kind of one of these auto-tune sing rappy records. When they get up to perform, I'm not getting rap. I'm not getting singing. I'm just getting a sort of a meh along with the beat.
Well, that just means they suck.
Singing over the track.
When you perform, you're comfortable, though, performing as a singer.
Oh, definitely.
You're able to actually do your records right live.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most of the times I try to, unless I'm fucking, out of breath and shit because I'm not in supreme shape like I could be. But,
Nah, I feel you, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm with
Nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Give me that hamburger.
Fucking gym. That shit is bullshit.
Fuck that
Dude,
gym.
you have time for the gym. You're a musician. That's gonna be your whole life is just gym and music if you wanted it to be.
No, see, this is back to the point of where I'm saying I don't take that shit that serious. I can't do it. I can't do that shit.
I'm good. I'd rather
not. Be chubby, $1 billion. I'm good. Like, make a couple records. People will be good. People go home and fuck. And I'm the cool guy. Cool. I get it. Like,
what is the level of celebrity like for the Dream? How recognizable are you day to day?
Oh man, it depends on actually where I am. Most places I go to, I'm like, nobody's gonna know me here. This is totally great. And I always try to find that little place or restaurant, and they find out, or I'll just run into somebody like, yo, your Dream. And then I think about it the whole time. They was just being respectful because I'm in a different type of a place of just not fucking with me. It isn't that they didn't know who I was. It takes one person to break it, though. It's like, can I get a picture? And then everybody comes like, oh, I thought you was the only. Like,
but it must vary so much with you because I could feel like you could easily be in one place and be cool, like you said, and then if for some reason it's All-Star Weekend and you go to the mall, it's a wrap.
Oh yeah, it's a wrap.
Like that's.
But the radar for artists being around is
even worse than. Even worse than. But I would guess in general, the mall in Atlanta or in LA or Chicago, like a place like that where people are hanging out.
Is I attract more music people. Like even though I'm I guess a celebrity, I'm a celebrity in a whole different type of way. Like there would be a Justin Bieber fan that walks up to me because they know Dream through Baby. So I attract a different fan, or Rihanna's like, oh, you're cool, like y'all are,
This segues perfectly to the thing I wanted to ask you. I said earlier, I joked, I texted my brother because he's a huge fan of yours to say, what would your question be for the Dream? He's a totally another different type, right? Nerdy music lover who loves the Dream. So here's the question from Nick Rosenberg. 2 parts.
This is crazy how we somehow cyber get Nick Rosenberg on the one.
What's weirder, Nick Rosenberg or Nina Sky? What's weirder?
Nick Rosenberg.
They're both in tons of episodes. This is part of Juan Epstein.
No, I know, but it's always weird to me. It's just always weird.
That's what makes it special. How does he feel about being in large part responsible for the growth of alt R&B? Along the same lines, it's not often that an R&B singer is embraced by the hipster crowd. What about his music is different that makes it resonate with a wider audience than a lot of his R&B contemporaries?
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Wait, first of all,
let him answer the damn question. He's thinking.
It's 4 questions.
That was 2 questions. I can tell he enjoys a serious question.
I think what makes it resonate probably is the music component to it, because there's a record on that album called "Loving You Crazy" where it transitions into another, and it's 2 different ideas of emotion. R&B is meant to be just a record itself in its own thing and never carried over into something else. Like you can never have 2 emotions in one record. And I kind of started out with Love Hate doing that. And so I think the hipster crowd kind of understands and appreciates that. They like value that. You can go from She Needs My Love and or actually She Needs My Love I think comes after Nicki on Love Hate or vice versa. But it's the point of the emotion and then going into that other place. But it's like literally writing a movie melodically, you know, and so they appreciate something else where even the R&B crowd and the people that write records, they can't even get beyond themselves to appreciate it because they don't understand what it is that I'm doing. Like, and so the hipster crowd isn't to say that they're smarter, they're just looking for more anyway. So they're like,
they're seeking
cool,
it out.
A record and you're probably talking about something, and usually just writing a record about ass will actually get you radio play, and then to make it about ass but then call it something else and then grow into a whole nother emotion and say, I'm going to write about this stripper, but her name is going to be Nikki, and I'm going to give her a life and a culture around her that everybody walks up to me and says, who the fuck is Nikki? And I know that, and I'm thinking that when I'm writing it. So they probably embrace that part of it.
So that goes on two levels. They're the fans who take it on a more basic level who just go, who's Nikki? And then they're the people who are intrigued by the fact that you created Nikki.
Right.
What about part responsible for the growth of alt R&B?
What is alt R&B?
Alternative R&B.
I mean, I know, but what
who are
is
artists? I don't know. Nick's not. I can call Nick and ask him who he'd be referring to.
I didn't even know there was a category.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of this. Have you heard of this?
No, it's not a category, but I understand. I understand what he means.
I don't think he means that there's a specific category. That
I can give you a song that's alternative R&B, and that would be Fancy.
Boom.
See, but that to me was why that was just a dope ass R&B record.
Yeah, I get it. But
to people who see R&B in a narrow point of view,
and that's back to what I just said.
Bop, got it.
So what's R&B to your brother?
R&B.
Like what's
you can't say, no matter what you want to say, and Ebro's very big on killing boxes, which I appreciate. But if you're looking at what's played on the radio generally,
Fancy was
new. Fancy was kind of different than some other things. Drake in general, and Drake's part of the alt R&B, as is The Weeknd,
as is go there because I know that Fancy and that sound that you created in that moment birthed. So that's what we're seeing today,
and that's what he's.
That's the question.
That's
all the questions. It's just a title, nerdy title to it.
That sound is really based on what Prince was doing, and some other things that were happening in the late '70s and early '80s that were seen really as just soulful R&B shit.
Yeah, probably. You're probably approximately right. I think Fancy was more.
It was Prince. We have a person off camera who we.
It's all right, Yvette. What did she say?
Remain nameless, or Yvette. And you think Prince was considered alternative also?
Yeah,
definitely was.
He was considered different.
He'd be like alt soul pop or something like it. He's a different lane
fair
too.
Enough.
Putting that in the middle of something, where it's just one song for me, which was Fancy at the time, which I told L.A. Reid, this is my favorite record. There's no way to get it to radio. Not gonna play it. They're not gonna do anything. But everybody else went home and chopped it up. They chopped it up. They lived with it. They got in the mood. They got on every other drug. They got into their shit, and then they started making these songs. And those are the songs that we hear right now from a mood. It was just one mood. And I always say you can make 3 albums in a mood if you're an artist and you come out with that mood. It's like, just take that. Put a slow in here, a up tempo in here, and there you go, and you good.
So how much responsibility do you take for The Weeknd, the Frank Ocean, the 40 Drake sounds that they've come with in the last several years?
Yeah, it's probably a question that you have to ask them because I don't know exactly how much somebody would be listening to me, regardless of what I could say. I think that I just changed R&B as far as the grit in it because there were no curse words and shit before I came out. Like everybody was real nice and safe R&B. I think at that time, and Trey was. Huh?
Kel's had some.
Yeah, that's some.
Kel's doesn't count. Like
Kel's different.
Kel's doesn't count. Like he started the shit. Like
right.
Like,
of course, sorry.
He had already did it and done it and was like, all right, cool. Like he was the only one. Like nobody else was doing it.
And he influenced you heavily.
Oh, of course he did. So at the end of the day, going back, I don't know if I could actually say that I influenced those guys or.
But you can hear yourself in it though.
Of course.
Now, how much did I hear some Sade in what you do?
Yeah.
I hear a lot. How much of that is R. Kelly, Sade, Prince? Like where does that?
What's your shit?
Man, that's it. That's like a best load of laundry ever. Like to throw that shit in and wash that up, and just.
So would you say that's your mix?
Yeah, that's probably my shit.
Is he literally doing laundry?
Well, he just wrote Dirty Laundry, so laundry's on his brain right now.
Because I wash dishes and do laundry to Sade and all that.
That's your thing. It's literally that for you. Are those your favorites? Who else? Is there anyone else that jumps out?
Sam Cooke, of course. Always been a favorite of mine. Otis Redding. You know, I got my ass whooped to all that, like everybody else did.
That's why you hear the pain in his records.
Yeah.
So literally music was...
switch off the tree, boy.
Oh yeah.
You ever have to pull your own switch?
Oh, of course. You try to go get these, but you can't be like disrespectful.
And bring
you
back
see the small one, but you like, damn. So you try to get a middle one.
You get a worser ass.
Yeah, we had a tree that just grew the right switches. It's like it was feeding that shit switch juice. Yeah, it's like switch fucking juice and drinking shit and just pouring that shit around the root. Like, you fucking serious? And I go out there.
Perfect again.
All these motherfuckers fucked up. I'm gonna die tonight.
Yo, is that only a black thing or?
Let me answer for you. No.
No.
Hold on. No, whipping your kids isn't. Getting the switch from the tree, I think, may be a black thing.
Forcing the child that's about to get the beating to
Yes.
go outside and pick the thing they're going to get
I think that's a black
beaten
thing.
with.
That might be a black thing.
Listen, the white kids I grew up around, I don't know kids who really got hit. There are definitely white kids who get hit. Around me, my black friends would tell me stories about ass whippings, not white friends. Here's my question. Do you, Ebro, actually have to get the switch from a tree?
Yes, my aunt Doris, they're from Oklahoma, used to make me go get it. My grandma.
Not your dad, though.
My dad was straight belt. My dad was straight belt in hands.
And what about your mom?
No, my mom was straight belt in hands.
Your mom used belt, though, too.
Yeah, because my mom used to come in the room. My mom was smaller than my brother and I. You know, because my mom's 5'4", so she's just coming in like this.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did she
catching you wherever you
wherever.
get it.
I don't care. Like,
yeah, and I'm 13 years old. I'm probably 150 pounds. I'm bigger than my mom already. I'm still curled up in the corner taking that from me. But your mom is scary.
But your mom's a little redhead Jewish lady.
Yes, she is.
And she still had the switch, but she was belt, not switch.
She was belt, not switch.
Wow, Jewish lady ass whipping.
I think switch is definitely an older Southern thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's bringing him back again.
Welcome everybody.
A lot goes on.
This has been an amazing conversation. I think that
could be a lot
It's
longer.
not even the tip of the iceberg.
It's a warm up.
We got there, but he's got to go.
We'll have him again.
Me and Jay are doing this thing.
Excuse me?
Me and Jay.
What's this whole Jay? Real quick, since we at the end of this one, what's the whole Jay relationship? Because when you came out at the awards,
he got me good.
Like, why were you up there? And what is your influence on, like, what were we saying, like the Watch the Throne album or like the
No Church, etc.
Well, a record that you'll probably hear in a little bit that I did for Jay at that time of Watch the Throne, before there was a No Church and before Otis was done, and a lot of those records. There's a record that I did for Jay personally, and which would lead him to getting ready to put his stuff out.
Is that the little thing you said you were doing with Jay that you just alluded to? Or is that something else?
No.
What was that record?
No, that's a thing.
What's the thing?
No. The record before No Church and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can't tell you. You'll hear it in a minute. And then,
it's not out yet.
So
Oh, you
there's a
started working
single
that
coming out
before.
that the Dream did for Jay that's on the way out.
I got you.
All right.
You had that
there's
before
a
you
song
did
I've
Watch the
done
Throne.
back in the day. Yeah.
Oh.
And
You'll
it was in the midst of while they were doing and finishing
okay.
their album, so it wasn't finished yet, and No Church hadn't been created, and Otis and a couple other records, and so they heard this particular record that I did because he played it for Ye, and so what happened was I actually flew here to the Mercer. We went into the Mercer to record, and I also remember being in. It could be something small, man. You know, you don't put your name on everything, and it's not about that. It's back to what relationships are. You know, being in Paris and hearing niggas in Paris for the first time when it wasn't what it was. You know what it ended up being, and it was just a J verse, and it was nothing else. And it's like, yo, put ball so hard everywhere in this track. Every time you see a gap,
That was your idea.
Put it everywhere. Every time you see a gap, don't stop. Just put it right there. And they did it. And you're watching this record that
That was his first line of the song.
That's his first line.
His first line is "Ball so
great.
hard," and then you said, "Take that part."
It's a great
and
line.
keep placing it.
It was just something in that feeling of what it was. It's just great. It was like, yo,
So you on that too? You credit on that too?
no. So I'm like,
That's
put that everywhere. Call back. Talk to my friend Karen. Was like, they got a smash. It's like, what are you talking about? It's a smash. It's like, I don't know what it's called right now. It's a smash. And it was a smash.
And what about with No Church?
And
What
No
was you
Church,
doing there?
because of a record that I did, actually, I just flew in and just, Frank had already done the hook with Kanye. And I was like, y'all don't need me, y'all already got it.
Got it.
And he was like, no, just try something. And I was like, okay. And I literally didn't find out I was on No Church until the album came out.
So what are you doing on it?
This is like a,
The
8-bar
weird-
verse? Yeah, it's an 8-bar verse on there in the middle.
Wait, the weird middle breakdown part?
Yeah, the weird.
That's
middle.
you on there?
Can you pull it up, Side?
And everybody just assumed that was Frank, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was Kanye.
I want to know specifically what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know the breakdown part.
No, but I want to hear it.
I gotta hear it. Again.
This,
That?
right? That's you.
We
You thought that was Ye?
I thought it was Frank. He thought it was
I thought it was
Ye,
Kanye.
and it's neither. It's the dream.
It does sound better than Ye traditionally does. I was like, Ye sounds really good here. Well, no shots at Ye. He's not an R&B singer, all right, guys.
And you
He
don't
sings.
get credit for this?
Oh no, I did.
For
I
this, he did. He won the Grammy for this.
Yeah, yeah,
How many Grammys do you have?
172. Oh.
4?
yeah.
It's a shockingly low number. Shockingly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
okay.
shit.
You're going to
That's
be
great.
all right.
His shit is deep, though.
Don't get me
just
wrong.
got
I don't feel
angry
bad
for
for
him.
you. Who
I just
cares?
I know he's
No,
rich,
see, but there are Grammys that you get that are specifically for yourself. How many Grammys I'm involved with getting for other people? Like I didn't get a Grammy for when Rihanna and Jay won for Umbrella. It's an artist award.
God.
Oh.
So you're responsible for those.
You know, that's crazy you don't get
you
that
know,
one for that.
Nigga, ones or whatever. Or Mary J. Blige won for, I think, Album of the Year. I was one record from, because of so many. If you put so many on the album, then they'll have to give you one as producer.
Oh, right. You need to know.
I did like 8 records and I didn't do 9 on that album. So it was like,
Okay, real quick, just for fun's
how you put
sake.
that on a deluxe?
And what was the logic? Where were you at when you put on your outfit for the Grammys that day?
Where was I at? I was chilling.
You were just,
Chilling
what
in my
mode were you in,
Beamer.
though?
I was in the same mode I'm in right now.
He was
You're
fucking.
always
He
in
had
that
on a
mode?
beanie. He was in L.A. He had on a beanie.
Fuck it.
And was like, fucking, I'm about to throw on this straight gangsta ass hat on top of it like I'm homeless.
Yeah.
But the hat's almost like ironic. Like he was like, oh, sweet, a Compton swap. That's what it was, right? It was a swap meet hat?
No,
that Jay just said that.
Jay
Oh,
said
Jay
it was,
did
but
say
it was,
it.
it said,
It wasn't.
Boys in the Hood. Oh, it was just the classic. Yeah, it was the kind of shit you find at the mall, though. You're like,
you're
oh,
like,
Boys in the
oh,
Hood.
yeah, let me
hat.
get that
but
shit,
how
right.
many winos have we seen around the hood? It's cold. You want to have your hat on. Right, your snapback, but it's cold, so you gotta throw the
beanie
scully
under.
on.
Yeah, your
under
scully
it.
on. Yeah.
Still rock your shit. It's some shit to have.
No, he looked mad hip hop. It was mad hip hop at the Grammys. It was awesome. And you
It
know,
was
Jay.
great. The funniest thing is, like I said, I told somebody the other day, I was like, get off Jay dick. Like, get off his dick. I was like, if Jay didn't say it, his shit would have went on. Like, all right, cool, I'm out. And it was like, man, you went on the Grammys, man, you wore this. I was like, the funny fucking thing is, I won fucking Song of the Year for Single Ladies. Wore a fucking suit to this bitch, and y'all motherfuckers didn't remember that I was up there.
Hey, then you did the right thing, bro.
Exactly. That was my point. I was like, so next year I'm gonna wear 5 fucking hats.
Crisscross like backwards and forward.
I'm gonna fucking turn my pants around, fucking bleach all my shit.
Yo, and just for the obligatory blogs and whoever's gonna watch this video, we didn't give a fuck about Christina Milian. No disrespect to her or Yitzi. We just didn't want to talk about it. And who else do you have a child with? Somebody else you have a child
Nivea.
with. And Nivea. That was a boring story for us. We were more interested in.
I knew that I know there are the things that there are people who are interested in those things.
Yes.
I'm not. I love your life. I'm glad you're happy, but there's so much music shit to get to with you. It's like, we'll get to that shit another day.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
And I'm sure you weren't clamoring to talk. No dude is really clamoring like, so about your ex, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to do that? Except for me.
How is the kid though? It's
Oh,
a
the
boy,
kids are
girl
great.
with the names.
Kids are great. Yeah.
That's all.
Boy,
that's-
girl. We don't.
Who? From Christina?
Yeah.
Girl.
You have a girl
Violet?
with Christina.
Yeah,
Violet.
Violet's
Nice
great.
name.
Yeah.
And with Nivea?
Navy, and I have 2 boys. Twin boys, actually.
Oh wow.
Oh, you have twins? How old are your twins?
7.
What? Oh, my brother has 5-year-old twins. He's gonna love you even more now.
Monique and Unique?
No, I hope not.
Wait, the
What's
twins
that
are
from?
what? The twins are what?
What's that from
7.
again?
No, and what sexes? Boy, girl,
Boy.
boy. Gotcha.
Yeah. The dream, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, thanks, bro. It was awesome.
My man.